What's up, everybody? This video is to help you learn how to create a private match, whether you are running an esports team or you just have a group of people who want to play each other in Knockout City. And this is for the new edit in 2023. EA Sports does not launch this on their Origin platform anymore. It now runs on Epic Games. So if you log in, it's been a while, you might see some different changes. So this is for 2023 if you're looking to get games going, how to get them going, how to invite friends, what are the settings to make an esports competition happen in a private match. So stay tuned, we're going to cover all of that. Let's get to it. So the first thing is your socials. Up at the top right, you'll see social. If you haven't already, you would like to invite the other team or at least have the contact of another player from the other team. And this is because in Knockout City we don't have the ability to send a match name and password to make a private match. It's based on invitations from friends. So if you are already friends with that player, you might go to active players and see who's online. At the top you might have to search for that player. We'll do that right now. If I need to search a player, I might reach out to the other coach and say, hey coach, what is your gamer tag? Want to make contact with you before this week's game and just make sure that we accept each other's friend requests. So in this instance, I'd contact Mr. Savage from another team, and I'm going to ask, hey, let's be friends. I'll send that off because I know his gamer tag, and it's going to blast it off right here. Once it populates, it knows that that's the real gamer tag for the game, and I click it, and I want to add that friend to be my knockout partner in the game. Just somebody who's my friend I can look at and ask him to play or any of that. So I'll send that, the request will go off. Now he's got to accept that in order for him to show up on my list. But if you have already done some of the work ahead of time, you can create a crew. Now there's a crew actual IDs. You can see my James Monroe Raptors have their ID. Students who are playing who would like to join your team can join the crew, and then they are ready to go. They have the same kind of identity, the same colors, they represent the same crew, and it's a little easier when you are inviting your own teammates into the game so that they can find you. But if you are looking to just simply look for people who are online, like the C Savage who I sent, or anyone else, you might go to them, and ACMS is offline right now, but I know James and his team are going to be playing. You click that player and you invite them to your group. The group is like the private match, and in this instance we haven't set one up yet, but when we get to the part where we're making a match, you click invite to group and they will enter the arena with you. More on that in a bit. So if you want to invite friends, rehash, make sure you invite them first. Send an email to the coach, say, hey, or what's your gamer tag? Get a hold of the other team first. Every team member doesn't have to know every player. You just need to have one player on the other team kind of represent and start guiding that process. So in my case, I have a captain for my team. That captain reaches out to the other captain during the week and just gets their information, and they share that and they become friends. So let's get to the actual game creation. When you're at the main menu, hit play, go to private match, and you will go to the league play. Now, team KO and league play team KO are very similar. They're both 3v3, they're both played in sets, but the difference is for league play, the special ball which you use to play Knockout City with is random. And when you're playing the other mode, team KO, you can change it, and the other team doesn't have control of that. So you want to choose league play, and you want to make sure the map selection is random. All the normal maps that you're used to in Knockout City are there. They're all legit. They're all within the normal rules of competitive play, but you want to make sure they're both random. Even if you're the home team, you want to make sure you select random maps. There's no home team advantage per se in Knockout City. So make the map awesome. Select out. In this case, we're going to say yes, let's go for it. We're going to make the match. I would say home team, depending on how you're set up, will be making the match and inviting people in. And it takes us to our kind of team registration area. Now, the cool thing about Knockout City is if you choose, you can spectate the match and go from player to player. And if you're streaming the game and you have people running that, that's great. But this also gives you the chance to get teams loaded in. So before I had mentioned the socials. In the top right, you see social. In order to invite people, click socials and you'll either look them up by their Knockout City ID. And in this case, I went back and I want to invite James and his team. And since he's already my friend, we played before, I'd click him. And if he was online, I would invite to the group. Now, if I invite James, he's just as able now to invite his team. And the team will populate. And it just depends. Are you going to be gold? Are you going to be blue? You can kind of sort that out and figure that out before you get into the match. Say, hey, we're going to be blue for this game, and your other team take gold. Now, there's a couple other things that go into it. You have to wait for your team to obviously load in. And when you're all loaded in, you can ready up. But there's a few extra settings if you look at the bottom left and go to menu. Some of the important things are like making sure your team can communicate with each other. You want team chat on. Or maybe you want it off because you're running on Discord and you don't need double the sound. Now, you want to make sure a lot of these settings are in the right mode, like you need crossplay to be on. If someone's playing on their Switch and only allowed to play with other Switches, when you're logged in with an Xbox or PlayStation or PC, you won't be able to connect. So you want to be able to make this a little easier for yourself and your team. Have the notifications show up. Make sure you can receive friend requests. Make sure you can receive group invites so you can join the match. And if your school or team has a crew, make sure that they're allowed to receive invites so that your team is able to pop in there and make this a little bit easier. So once you have that set up and your team's able to log in, make sure the chat is the right way. You can see the bottom left joystick. You can say chat. You can say team. You can say chat off. Chat for group means everyone can talk to each other. Team means only your team can play. So double check everything in the bottom right is good. Special ball random, mapped random. And when you're good to go, you can start the match. Now, in Knockout City, it's a best of 3. So every time you play, you're trying to win 2 of the 3 games in order to win the set. Now, the set is the 3 games. In this case, you might be playing multiple games. For esports purposes, a match is typically a best of 3. So you'd be playing 3 of these games total. Now, it depends. If you win the first 2, then, there's no need to go into the third game. But each set is comprised of 3 games. So you might win 2 games and win the first set, but you need to win several sets to win the match, right? And so for esports sake, especially at the middle school level, a best of 3 is suitable. If you're going to play multiple games per day, you need to make sure you make the time for that. So it's not just a play a couple games and you're done. If you win that round or that set, then you get a 1 on the board. You go back in. You need to win at least 2 if you're playing a best of 3. If for some reason your team or college or high school is choosing to do something greater, then you can make it a best of 5 or grand finals a best of 7 or whatever you want. But those are the basics. In 2023, things have changed a bit, but the game's still super fun. It's super simple, but if you need to invite other people to play, you have to do the work ahead of time to contact the other team, to get their gamer tags. And so that leads me to, how do I get my gamer tag? Where does that come from? How do I get in there? So let's return to the hideout. If you're like starting off and you go, well, I don't know what my gamer tag is, we'll refresh. Social, you'll see at the top it says Educated Lobo, KO City ID, Dr.450 hashtag 8603. If I'm going to be sending this off in an email to a coach or sending some Discord message, I want to send the Dr. period 450 hashtag 8603. It's really important to add the actual KO City ID part and not my actual name on, let's say, for PlayStation for this instance. So make sure you have that right, and spend a couple days ahead of time making sure that you have the time. There's nothing worse than it's game day and no one can communicate with each other and your team's a little disappointed that it's not working out. So put in a little bit of the extra effort. You'll see the reward because of it. Anyways, that's about it. If you have any questions about how to set up a private match, leave a comment below. I hope this has been helpful, and good luck in your matches. Brawl on.